What do you see? The cult of personality. Hey all, it's the DJizzle86 here, bringing you my latest wrestling blog, which I have dubbed the Ringside View. For those of you who already knew, I used to do a blog called the Ringside View, so I'm bringing it to YouTube now. It will also be a discussion show once I get enough interest, where we'll have phone calls and interviews and whatever we can do. Okay? So today's edition, we are going to talk about, you could probably guess it by the music, we're going to talk about CM Punk. And since I don't have the actual spinner belt, I will use this to represent the WWE Championship, where this was one of the last belts they used that actually represented it well. Even the belt after this, before the spinner belt, the Undisputed Championship, they dubbed it, even that was a good belt. But so, since I don't have it, I'm going to use this to represent CM Punk and his WWE Championship. Okay, so on to matters at hand. CM Punk is the current WWE Champion. We are heading into Extreme Rules on Monday, and he has a Chicago street fight against Chris Jericho, a rematch from WrestleMania, where, as we can all tell and know, CM Punk actually defeated Jericho at WrestleMania. So, but before we get into that whole program, we're going to start from the beginning, from the days that CM Punk joined WWE under the ECW brand, which Jerry Lawler used to call, when it was old ECW, Extremely Crappy Wrestling, which almost would fit the WWE branded ECW because it was pretty pathetic, if you ask me. The only thing that legitimized it for me was the fact that Kurt Angle was on the brand originally, and that the Big Show actually held the title for a while, which was pretty cool. For those of you who don't know, I actually prefer Big Show as a heel to a face. I find his face character very boring. Where he's a heel, a monster heel, it's perfect role for him. But anyway, we're here to talk about Punk. So basically, I wanted to talk about the first couple months he was in WWE. He was the shine-out star of ECW. Great wrestler. Like, he had a unique style that really hadn't been seen since RVD. The fact that RVD was on the same brand as him also did wonders for it. I remember seeing CM Punk the first time. I think I actually watched maybe a couple of months into when ECW started, and I watched one of his matches and I thought, he's going to go far. How far, I didn't know. But it turns out, yeah, he should be going high places, which he ended up doing, so I was kind of right. But at the time, I didn't realize I was going to be, it was going to be this soon. Especially with stuff that I'm going to talk about later, that sort of stunted his rise to the top. As we all know, he's outspoken. During his first months in ECW, he was the company guy, did what he was asked. You didn't really see any of that rebel side that they're playing off on TV at the moment. He did a lot of good programs, notably with John Morrison, after he won the ECW Championship at Night of Champions, I think it was. It was the weekend that the man we do not speak of murdered his family and killed himself, who rumours were that he was scheduled to be the new ECW champion. Obviously, he didn't show to that event, so they gave the belt to Morrison, and which started Johnny Nitro turning into John Morrison, thus the whole program with Morrison and CM Punk, which was a good program for an ECW match. Like I said, I didn't have much interest in ECW, but what can you say? You guys, excuse me, guys, I'm pretty sick at the moment, so I keep coughing. I'm going to put this belt down for a sec and have a drink. So yeah, as we were talking about, CM Punk. I can't really note too much from the ECW side except for the Morrison feud, because nothing really stood out. I mean, I know he had a feud with Chavo for the belt, and during the whole La Familia stage where Chavo, Vicky Guerrero, Edge, and Zack Ryder, I believe, was in that. Kurt Hawkins, when they were the Edgeheads. But yeah, during his early stages, there wasn't as much personality as he shows now. I think if I had to put a point on it and had to tell you where CM Punk rose, it would be just after he beat Jeff Hardy for the World Heavyweight Championship via Money in the Bank, and he started the whole straight edge, like really in your face about it thing. It developed his heel character perfectly, and he had can't even remember their names. Serena, I think it was, and good old Festus. I don't care if his name was Luke Gallows; he will always be Festus. The two of them played off him very well, especially Serena. She worshipped him like a god, which made him that much more full of himself, which is why he was fucking awesome. I won't lie, I'm one of those people that tend to go for the heels because, you know, it's the cool thing to do. But in that situation, it wasn't hard to be a CM Punk fan. Like, I did not get sick of the Straight Edge Society at all. I thought it was something new and something that they could run with for a while. And he had those programs with Big Show and Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio ended up winning that program when he forced CM Punk to shave his head from the long black hair that he had to the short black hair that he sort of has now. I mean, it's grown back a little bit. Great program on SmackDown with those guys. The whole Straight Edge Society thing was just perfect. Like, I mean, I know a couple of people that claim they're straight edge too, but seeing it on TV made it sort of mainstream. And I guess for those people, it made it cool to be straight edge, I guess. So he's done something for the mainstream media, I guess. I'm going to keep saying I guess. We'll move on to later on in the career. He was then drafted to Raw at some point. I mean, he's gone back and forth from Raw to SmackDown. He was drafted back to Raw, where he, I believe he became... I'm missing spots here, I know. But there was... actually, before I even talk about the Raw side, I forgot to talk about the incident with The Undertaker at Hell in a Cell. He had a Hell in a Cell match with The Undertaker for the World Heavyweight Championship, where Undertaker absolutely demolished him and beat him in one of the shortest Hell in a Cell matches you will ever see. If you're a frequent wrestling viewer, you will know that a lot of backstage politics goes into that type of thing. And CM Punk was not doing well with the higher-ups at that time. He basically got in the doghouse, and it showed on TV when they took the belt off him that quickly. That was probably one of the first incidents where CM Punk's mouth got in the way of a good thing. Because as you may or may not know, I am a huge fan of the World Heavyweight Championship. I prefer it over the WWE Championship. In fact, in my own game, I've got the one belt, which is the World Heavyweight title, being defended on both brands. Because I don't see the point in having two. But if the WWE title was this one, I may go back on that decision. Sorry, guys. So CM Punk and The Undertaker thing sort of would have dampened the fire that eventually became CM Punk's career. So after that, nothing really notable happened on SmackDown, so he was drafted to Raw, and I believe this was around about the time Nexus was around, and he sort of became a member of the Nexus, but was actually named the leader, and it was dubbed the New Nexus. I was actually a big fan of the Nexus at the time, so the New Nexus was something I was really into. I've even got the New Nexus shirt, which was basically CM Punk's logo but in yellow to represent the Nexus, but still it was pretty cool. I remember the Raw where he gave them all tests to prove that they wanted to be part of the Nexus, and they did some weird shit. I mean, like, I think Michael McGillicuddy had to take finishing moves from everybody else in the Nexus. He was absolutely destroyed. It was fucking awesome. I believe that's when Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater decided to pussy out, and they went to SmackDown to start up the call with Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson. So that's when we had the whole New Nexus versus the Core thing going on all the way through Royal Rumble, including the match. So yeah, CM Punk had actually had his second stable that he was in charge of. A bigger one than the Straight Edge Society, but it was still... In fact, it was better. In fact, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the Straight Edge Society. From the New Nexus thing, sort of died down a little bit. Then there was rumors about his contract and how he was going to not re-sign. And thus, he was named #1 contender for the WWE Championship, which John Cena held at the time. And one night on Raw, after John Cena had a match, CM Punk got on the mic and blew the internet community away. If I could show you the video, I would, but I'm not very good at that type of thing at the moment. He did what they call a shoot promo. Although for a shoot promo, they reckon he may have had like things fed to him to say to make it look like it was a shoot. Anyway, basically stating how John Cena is an ass kisser, but he's and he was stating that The Rock is an ass kisser. That he basically called Vince's family stupid. He called Vince stupid. He called Stephanie... I can't even remember what he called her, but it was something bad. He basically said... He called Triple H a doofus. He basically went where he wasn't supposed to go. He mentioned other promotions on TV. Up to that point, they did not mention other promotions like ROH or fucking New Japan. He even mentioned Colt Cabana, on fucking Raw, who's not a contracted WWE wrestler. So things that they don't usually let them do, he was doing. They played it off by turning his mic off, and he still got into the camera's face, started saying more stuff into the camera. It looked legitimate, and when the show went off the air, I was actually here with my friend Albert, and we were just like, what the fuck, man? It was fucking brilliant on CM Punk's behalf, and if it was like properly worked, it did its job. It made people believe it was a shoot. It made people believe that he didn't give a fuck anymore, which was awesome. As we all know, it led up to the WWE Championship match in Chicago at Money in the Bank, where if CM Punk won, he was going to leave with the WWE Championship, still not going to sign a contract. It actually happened. We didn't think it would. We thought Cena would win. CM Punk actually won and technically left the company. This also sparked off a side story where Vince was fired from his position as the runner of the day-to-day operations of WWE. He was replaced by his son-in-law Triple H, who is now still the CFO or whatever what he's doing. So basically, Triple H is still in that role, which eventually would run down, and Laurinaitis would be named interim Raw GM, which we now know he is GM of both Raw and SmackDown. So that's where that went. All stemming from the CM Punk storyline. Go figure. So yeah, after the start of what was being dubbed the second summer of Punk. If you're not familiar, the first summer was when he was in ROH, Ring of Honor. I'm not too familiar with all the Ring of Honor stuff. I've seen where he signed the WWE contract on the belt, which was fucking brilliant. But besides that, I haven't seen too much. So I'll get some experts in, people who've actually seen ROH, to talk about that at another stage. Because I've got a couple of friends who actually did watch it. So yeah, after that promo and the Money in the Bank incident, Triple H, once in charge, re-signed Punk, and we had a champion versus champion unification match for the WWE title, which was won by CM Punk, I believe. But then Kevin Nash came out, attacked CM Punk, and then Alberto Del Rio cashed in Money in the Bank to win the championship. So that was the short run by Punk the first time. Punk wouldn't get it back for months after that, having feuds with Kevin Nash. He strove a wedge between Kevin Nash and Triple H, and then Triple H and CM Punk tagged against The Miz and R-Truth. After a couple of incidents with them where Triple H actually fired The Miz and R-Truth. I'm noticing a recurring theme here while I'm talking. Every storyline that has been like proper and stuck in your head the last year has had something to do with CM Punk. Coincidence? I don't think so. Like the whole Miz and R-Truth thing, they faced Punk and Triple H first before they faced John Cena and The Rock. So in a way, that's even spawned off on The Rock and Cena feud. So that's pretty good. Just goes to show you how well and how awesome Punk is. After that, all that shit, I really can't remember how it went, but I'm pretty sure CM Punk won the championship. I think it was off John Cena. I can't remember, but I know he won the championship somehow, obviously, and he's held it since then. I know he had a TLC match against Alberto Del Rio and The Miz at TLC, which he retained. He had his match at the Rumble where he retained. Elimination Chamber he retained. And then he had his match against Jericho at WrestleMania where he retained. And now he's in that program with Jericho still, where they're basically trying to say that he's been drinking because Jericho's pushed him to the edge. I'm not liking this as much as I should. I mean, they're playing on the straight edge thing. I liked it more when it was the best in the world versus the best in the world. This whole, you're not straight edge, you're drinking shit. It's pretty fucking boring. So there's the downside of the Punk thing at the moment. But the point of the story is, the point of all this conversation that I'm having with myself into the monitor is basically CM Punk has had pretty much everything to do with what is awesome about wrestling at the moment. Before all that, wrestling was pretty dead. In fact, I'd actually stopped watching it a little bit. But after that shoot promo he did on Raw, I've been watching it pretty much religiously, week in, week out. And it hasn't disappointed at all. I mean, there's been some disappointing shows, but CM Punk, his segments have been awesome. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they go with the championship. If Jericho doesn't win, I don't see him doing a third, but I could be wrong. Maybe they will give the belt to Jericho at Extreme Rules. Who knows? But I'm hoping they get into a new program. I have heard some rumors that Lord Tensai will be the next challenger for the title. It's pretty evident that he's going to get a big push. I mean, he beat Cena on Raw pretty cleanly, as far as a heel character can go. So that's a big step up for Lord Tensai getting the rub from John Cena. Yes, I know I said rub, and it might sound dirty, but who cares? As you can tell, I'm pretty tired. I've got my hair sticking up and everything. So there's not much else to talk about. I'm just really curious as to where CM Punk will go from here. He's had his pinnacle of perfection or whatever but it can only go downhill. Like, he was so high up, it's only going to go downhill. I just hope it doesn't go downhill really bad, because just like Randy Orton, he's gone through the bad boy stages where he was hated by fans and the powers that be. But look at Randy Orton now. Randy Orton's fucking champion. He's always in the main event. Whereas a couple of years before that, he was trashing hotel rooms. So it goes to show you that paying your dues can work in your favour. And obviously in Punk's case, it has. And he's still the WWE champion. Pretty long reign, because it was before TLC that he won it. And TLC is in December. So... so it's a couple of months at least, which is a pretty good run. But with that thought, I'm going to leave you be, and I'm just going to leave you with this again. Have a good one, guys. Remember to subscribe and email me if you want to talk about wrestling or if you want to be on the show. Have a good one, guys. Catch you later.